that the hijackers were trained in a CIA consulate base and shipped over here from Saudi Arabia. They were funded by Pakistani intelligence. They were trained by Western agencies, whether it be the Pensacola Navy Station in Florida, or Maxwell and Brooks Air Force Base, or the Defense Language Institute in Monterey, California. All of this is clearly documented. We show you the cover-up of the 9/11 Commission report. We show you Max Cleland resigning from the 9/11 Commission because it is nothing but lies. We show you Able Danger. We show you the Israeli connection through Amdocs and Converse. After you watch Fabled Enemies, there is no doubt that you will have a different perspective on 9/11. You will realize that the shadow government was in action that day, and their doomsday planes, E-4Bs, were caught on camera at the scenes of both the World Trade Center attack and the Pentagon attack.
Wow, I'm glad you brought up those E4Bs. You don't hear that much even from the Truth Movement. The whole thing dealing with the E4Bs, it was incredible. Can you kind of go more into that? Why were they up before the planes hit initially, or?
Well, here's what we do know. Officially, there were no military planes in New York City before both plane strikes occurred. However, we have videotape after the first plane strike of what a white E-4B on the scene of the World Trade Center. This is prior to the strike. Then we have several videos of that same white plane on the scene of the second World Trade Center attack. The video's out there, folks. Go check it against the videos in Fabled Enemies, but I promise you they are there. And then moments after the Pentagon is struck, when everybody is running from the building, a couple cameras pan up, and what do they see? Yet another E-4B. It is admitted that they had at least 4 of these planes in the air for doomsday exercises. And in the film, we show you that the continuity of government program, aka the admitted shadow government, uses these as command centers. And again, they just happen to be in the air in a drill on the day of these attacks.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's the brainwashed zombies would like saying, oh, just another coincidence. These they'll deny
Well,
things.
the military denies they're there to this day. They just simply deny it. I mean, you watch even the Anderson Cooper piece, and we took a little bit of that and put it into Fabled Enemies, and the military just says it didn't exist. They weren't on the scene. Those aren't E-4Bs. Oh, I must be imagining it.
Yeah, they'll just lie to your face, even though I mean it's like the sky is blue, but they'll go, nope, sky's not blue, sky's.
Well, you know what? Let me talk about something that's brand new that nobody seems to be picking up on. Okay, I've seen it reposted a couple places, but most people are missing what is so important about this video. We all know now that Able Danger actually did identify the hijackers prior to 9/11. Otherwise, the Pentagon would not have bought all of Tony Schaefer's first run of his book, Operation Dark Heart, and admittedly burned it. I sat down with Mr. Schaefer on the weekend of September 11th, on September 10th, in New York City this year, and discussed it with him briefly. I discussed with him the James Woods information that we go over in Fabled Enemies, and a few other things. Now, there's a new piece out there with this woman whose name is Mary, and I put that in quotes because it's an alias, it's an admitted alias, who is corroborating his story. But here's what's glossed over. Mary admits that she was an independent intelligence analyst who gets contracted by government agencies. She then goes into how she was contracted by the CIA to keep tabs on bin Laden and his group prior to 9/11. She then admits, and I thought this admission was so wild and so unbelievable that nobody picked up on it, she then admits that she was running bin Laden's English-speaking bank accounts before 9/11. Let me repeat that. An independent analyst with an alias named Mary working for the CIA prior to 9/11 was running bin Laden's English banking accounts. How can you then make the claim that you did not know how the money moved if your CIA analyst was moving that money?
Wow, I didn't know that. I did know about the books. They literally bought up. What was it, like 9,500? Or what was it? It was a huge amount of copies, and they literally got rid of them. So, do you know if you spoke with him then? Well, I don't know if you spoke with him since that happened, obviously, but Do you know what the deal is then? Are they gonna print those just with certain sections missing,
Oh
or?
no, I discussed the entire thing. Yeah, no, they made him come in, and they said that they were going to do surgical edits, what they were calling surgical edits. And he admitted to me they did much more than that, and he had to rearrange and take out entire chapters. Yes, they censored a bunch of that.
Wow, that's disgusting. So we're never gonna get the full copy then, or is it?
You know what? That's a great question. I am wondering if somebody put it into PDF format beforehand, if somebody was able to get their hands on a first printing of the book. Right now, I don't know. I would love to see that be leaked, perhaps by WikiLeaks or some other entity, but we'll never really know the truth behind Able Danger. So much of it's classified just due to the technology that they were using. And, you know, Anthony Schaefer, very courageous man, but we also have to keep in mind that he is a military operative. He was somebody who was doing interrogations in Afghanistan. That's what this book is about, from 2000 to 2004. He works as a intelligence analyst at the moment, and he's only going to be able to say so much. But I did just send you that Fox News link. Again, the story that Fox News wrote up about it doesn't mention anything that I just told you about their intelligence analyst, Mary. But if you play the video, she clearly again states that while she was working for the CIA, she was contracted by a member of Al Qaeda to do what? To run bin Laden's English speaking bank accounts.
Wow, man, that yeah, no, that is a huge, huge bombshell there. I have not heard of that, but so yeah, so all this stuff coming out with it seems like the more information or more clips and things through Freedom of Information Act, more footage, more interviews that come out about 9/11, it's always, something just, proving the official story is a complete lie, and that actually, the more conspiratorial view that the government at very least had prior knowledge, or they actually, they pulled it off themselves. They actually brought the buildings down through controlled demolition. Anytime there's more information being either whether it's leaked out or however it gets out to us through Freedom of Information Act, it always just it never really hurts the 9/11 truth. It always props up 9/11 truth.
Well, that's exactly right. And these debunkers never want to acknowledge that. They'll never acknowledge new evidence. For instance, I remember I was down at the anniversary on the seventh anniversary of 9/11, and one of these little debunkers couldn't even look me in the face, came up to me. His handle is RK Owens on YouTube, and he's trying to trip me up and trying to make me say things that I hadn't said, or that I hate the family members, and that there was no molten metal at ground zero. So I point out that the head of FEMA in New York had said that there were 2,700 degree temperatures because it was like a cremation effect underneath. And I made the mistake. My mistake was that I said it was printed like a week ago. I meant it was printed about a week after 9/11. In fact, it was September 16th. And how did I know this? Well, aside from the type of research I do on the internet, I had lucked out. I'm from New York, and one of my fraternity brothers' mothers had taken all the New York Daily Newses from September 11th for an entire year and kept them. She bagged them up and she put them in the basement. And, she did put these things around, and Eric thought it would help for my movie. So that's where you see a lot of these hard clips that I used in Fabled Enemies. They're actually articles that I, cut out from New York Daily News, scanned in, and then I did a graphic over it or whatever. But again, I wasn't talking about the controlled demolition of the World Trade Center in Fabled Enemies, so I didn't use this article. So about a month later, this ridiculous video pops up on the internet. Jason Bermas, what the hell is he talking about? He's crazy. There's I've looked everywhere. This article doesn't exist. So, at first I kind of ignored it, but I had been going through my hard drives for my next project, Invisible Empire, and I found the article. It was sitting right there. So on my blog at the time, I said, this is what the hell I'm talking about. I printed a scan of the article, and in it, James Baker-Sky, who was the head of FEMA in New York, clearly stated that there were 2,700 degree temperatures at the World Trade Center. See, the debunkers can't admit that it was that hot, because then their arguments go out the window, okay? So this gets printed, and at first he's saying, oh, it's a fake article. I manufactured it. I made it up. I did it with graphics. Well, somebody realized that it was probably reprinted in another magazine online or something like that, and they just typed in a couple of sentences that were in the article, and lo and behold, it had been reprinted. Did I get a retraction? Did I get an apology? No, I'm just wrong. These people are out of their minds. They just cannot deal with the truth because it shatters their paradigm of reality so harshly they can't deal with it. Or B, they're just shills. They're shills. There are paid operatives out there that are just set out to try to discredit us, embarrass us, get us to say things we normally wouldn't, and really smear our campaign so this truth doesn't make it into the mainstream.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to be totally naive to say there weren't. I was watching a documentary about John Lennon and how I mean, he was being harassed by, the FBI and stuff like crazy. And yeah, I mean, they would have, operatives go out there and, either harass or do undercover, stings. Like there was can't remember the name, but a pro marijuana legalization activist who got sentenced to 10 years in prison for selling a undercover agent two joints. So to think that that there's no undercover operatives working to try to discredit, smear, and attack any sort of real true constitutionalist liberty movement would just be completely naive. Of course there are, and just the amount of infighting. Like before I got involved with the whole truth movement and everything that that we're talking about today in this interview, I was kind of a more mainline libertarian, and there definitely was infighting, but the level and the intensity and the threats and everything in that movement, was not even near the level that I see within the truth movement. So it's
well, let's talk about it for a second, because what you have is you have those operatives that are sitting out there and they are just trying to stir the pot, and then B, you have these people that are just jealous, and for some reason they think that they're going to be able to elevate themselves by tearing somebody else down or getting noticed because they're attacking somebody. And it has never made sense to me to sit there and try to attack other patriot movements. Or, sometimes people will try to hold you hostage. They'll say, well, if you don't get behind this, or you don't have this person on your radio show all the time, or you don't donate your money to this, you're a bad person, and you need to be stopped. And if you want to go on this show, you're bad. I've always tried to have all perspectives be heard on the programs that I put out there, in the films that I put out there. But obviously, when I do a movie, it's what I've come across in my research. And when I'm doing my radio show, I'm going to talk about subject matter that I think is important. I know I can't save the world by myself. I know I can't get behind every small movement. And, there have been people, I've had disagreements, with Zeitgeist Addendum. And, I say that I did not enjoy the second half of Zeitgeist Addendum, and that I don't want to be a part of the Venus Project. Bermas, you shill, or I've had the Christians tell me I'm bad because I'm not a Christian. And obviously the Nazis hate me because I don't hate Jewish people. So it's like they come at you from all separate angles. But, despite that, right now I am trying to put together another radio show. I've been off the air now since I left Texas in May. And, there's another conspiracy theory. I get emails and wall posts all over the place where, what did you do? Did you have a falling out with Alex Jones? Did he fire you? What happened? And, I'd been clear on my radio show from the very beginning that after Invisible Empire, I was probably going to go back to New York. I kept renting my house the entire 15 months I was out there. I wasn't paying rent for storage back in New York. I'd always planned to return. People don't understand how much hard work it is when you're working in the Infowars office, you're doing a radio show, you're writing, directing, and editing a movie. I had a couple other editors work with me, but when you're the writer, the director, you're doing the after effects, it's very, very grueling, folks. People don't understand that. And I was only able to come back to New York about 3 times the entire time I was in Texas. So yeah, I was homesick. This is where my family lives. This is where my brother is, my nieces. I just can't picture myself living anywhere else. I've had offers to go out to California and move there. And right now I'm trying to work on another film and a project. I have no desire to live in California. So, right now, after getting hundreds and hundreds of emails, it is nothing but lies. We show you Able Danger. We show you the Israeli connection through Amdocs and Converse. After you watch Fabled Enemies, there is no doubt that you will have a different perspective on 9/11. You will realize that the shadow government was in action that day, and their doomsday planes, E-4Bs, were caught on camera at the scenes of both the World Trade Center attack and the Pentagon attack.
Wow, I'm glad you brought up those E4Bs. You don't
Prior to the strike, then we have several videos of that same white plane on the scene of the second World Trade Center attack. The video's out there, folks. Go check it against the videos in Fabled Enemies, but I promise you they are there. And then moments after the Pentagon is struck, when everybody is running from the building, a couple cameras pan up, and what do they see? Yet another E-4B. It is admitted that they had at least 4 of these planes in the air for doomsday exercises. And in the film, we show you that
don't hear that much, even from the truth movement. The whole thing dealing with the E4Bs, it was incredible. Can you kind of go more into that? Why were they up before the planes hit initially, or?
Well, here's what we do know. Officially, there were no military planes in New York City before both plane strikes occurred. However, we have videotape after the first plane strike of what? A white E-4B on the scene of the World Trade Center. This is proof that the hijackers were trained in a CIA consulate base and shipped over here from Saudi Arabia. They were funded by Pakistani intelligence. They were trained by Western agencies, whether it be the Pensacola Navy Station in Florida, or Maxwell and Brooks Air Force Base, or the Defense Language Institute in Monterey, California. All of this is clearly documented. We show you the cover-up of the 9/11 Commission report. We show you Max Cleland resigning from the 9/11 Commission because the continuity of government program, aka the admitted shadow government, uses these as command centers. And again, they just happen to be in the air in a drill on the day of these attacks.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's the brainwashed zombies would like saying, oh, just another coincidence. These they'll deny things.
Well, the military denies they're there to this day. They just simply deny it. I mean, you watch even the Anderson Cooper